In this video, we will talking about how to configure AD Domain SSO in Sangfor IAM. For requirement, we will need Microsoft Active Directory, which also called Build App Server. There are three types of SSO. Script SSO, when domain users log in or log off PC, the domain script will be auto-executed. AD SSO, automatically detect the logon event log from AD server. IWSSO, PC, will be auto-authenticate when user trying to browse a website. We will be talking about AD SSO configuration today. We will now talk about how AD SSO works. First, the PC will log into the domain. Then, the agent communicate with AD server to obtain domain online users information. Lastly, the PC is authenticated and able to access the internet. Steps to configure AD SSO. Configure App SSO Authentication Policy in IAM. Configure SSO options, then select Domain. Configure SSO Authentication Policy. We will start with configuring the SSO Authentication Policy. First, go to Users, select Authentication Policy. At this page, press Add and enter the policy name you prefer. Then, at Object enter the IP address or IP segment of the PC. After that, select Auth method and press Single Sign-On. Below you are able to select Secondary Auth method if the user failed the SSO. In this case, we will leave it as default. Go to Action, you are able to select the group for the user. We will select a default group. Check on Add Users Account into Local User Database if you want to add into local database. Check Automatic Binding if you want to bind user address information. Press Commit after you have done your settings. Configure AD Domain SSO settings. Next, we will configure AD SSO domain settings. Go to Users, press on Single Sign-On. At MS Add Domain, press Enable Domain SSO. Then, we will add Domain Controller. Press Add. First, enter the domain DNS server IP. Then, enter the domain name. If you forgot your controller IP, you can press Resolve Domain to get the IP. Enter the domain account and password. Administrator account is recommended. After that, press Test Validity and ensure it is success. Press Commit after all configurations is completed. Then, press Commit again to save the settings. Check whether the SSO is successfully enabled. To check whether the SSO is working, first we log on to the domain PC. After login, try to go to see whether you are able to access internet. If you are able to access internet, it shows that SSO authentication is succeed. Then, go to IAM and see whether the user is in the online user list. Press Online Users. Here you are able to see the PC that have successfully authenticated with SSO. It also have placed under the group default which we have selected earlier. Additional settings. You can display user as domain account plus username. Go to Users, press on Advanced. Scroll to below, you are able to see username of domain user is domain account plus domain name. Check this settings to enable it. Press Commit after all configurations is completed. Here is how the user will show after enabled the settings. In the end of this tutorial, we have learned on how to configure SSO Authentication Policy, how to configure AD SSO domain settings, how to check the SSO is successful in online user, how to display user as domain account plus username.